All right, here we are again. I hope this works. I don't want to drop you guys. Hi everybody. Oh, I don't even know if this is gonna work that well. This is so good. I have my phone plugged into the wall over here and we're having problems with that. So as I jiggle you guys around, I hope you guys don't get seasick out there. Hi Coach. Hi Brandy. Thank you. You know what, Caitlin? I am not good at rigging these things up. I'm doing my best over here. Hi there. I didn't plan on having you guys plugged in, but you guys are getting all shaky over there. You might be feeling the turbulence I was feeling. I just flew back from Nebraska, so hi, Will and Alyssa. So you're getting the shakes that I got from all my turbulence. We'll give everybody just a couple minutes to check in. I'm glad you guys have been able to find my new account. Hi there. We got Coach B on here. If there's anyone out there who would like to share this out, if you're struggling with participation in your classroom and getting everybody to participate, that's what we've been talking about every week. My name's Andrea Schindler. I'm co-founder, Whole Brain Teaching. Coach B is here with us today, so he's going to be helping out with any questions, and he's a good expert to ask, so that's a good one to have. I'm from Whole Brain Teaching, and so say hi to Coach, everybody. If you guys are interested in more about Whole Brain Teaching, we have a website, wholebrainteaching.com. Chris Biffle, you want to follow him at Chris Biffle. He does a Sunday scope at 1 o'clock every Sunday. I do a scope every Tuesday at 4 o'clock, and we just like to meet every week and tell you what's the newest, the latest, and the greatest with Whole Brain Teaching. Oh, I'm glad you think so. I think so too. I have been doing Whole Brain Teaching for 14 years, and let me tell you, it's been a lifesaver. The biggest blessing I've ever had was meeting Coach B 14 years ago when I was a brand new teacher. So it has been the greatest journey and blessing of a lifetime. So started using the freeze to get those gestures bigger. I'm so excited. That's good. Awesome. Yeah, 14 years. It's crazy. The time has flown. And I got to tell you, those of you who are in this journey for the long haul, stick around because Chris Rexted, who's another co-founder, and I just got back from a conference, and on our way we were sitting, it's changed my teaching career too. We were sitting together on the plane and we were just talking about how over the years so much has evolved with Whole Brain Teaching, and that's because we're just a group of teachers that are using these strategies in the classroom, and we're practicing these strategies in the classroom, and so we're constantly changing them and they're evolving so that they can get better. So that's probably the best thing, is we're in this together. So someone out there just asked about the freeze. I'll tell you really quickly. What the freeze is, when the kids are doing mirrors and they're doing gestures with you, we'll say, oh, I like that. Mickey and Mouse, very cute. So we'll be doing the gestures, and then I'll call out freeze, and then we look around the room and we see who has the tallest gestures, and we try to make them as big as the person in the room. And so that kind of gives you a gauge of who's actually doing the gestures with you, but also it helps to have them compete with each other for who's going to have the biggest gestures. So that was the freeze. We talked about that a couple weeks ago. And Caitlin, I have to tell you, yes, Mickey Mouse is just fine. You can use Mickey Mouse. Yes, there are no Whole Brain Teaching police here. We want you to make it your own, so that works out just fine. Be creative. We love creative. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to talk about one small thing this week. Last week, I think I kept you guys for an hour. I'm so sorry. Everybody has a life, so we're not going to keep you guys for an hour this week, but I do want to review with you what we've talked about so far. And so basically, Coach and I have been doing some scopes, and recently a problem that kept coming up was, how do we get our kids, everybody participating, everybody engaged? So we've been just talking week by week by week about some different strategies that we're using. And so we have paused for just a minute because we're talking about the scoreboard. And if anyone, Caitlin, one of these days we're just going to have to do a phone call, I think, my friend. So anyway, We have paused on the scoreboard because any of you guys out there that know that scoreboard, someone said it last week, it is, I will get back to that, it is literally the train that drives our classroom. It keeps our classroom chugging along. And as we know, the scoreboard has lots of levels. So Coach last week, a few of them were asking me if I could do a little video of the huddle. I am not doing that video. I just didn't get to do it last week. I have one volunteer that comes in, and she comes in on Fridays. So my hope is that this Friday when she comes, some of you out there wanted me to do it on Periscope. I'm just checking into the legalities of that. But if I can't do it on Scope, I'll just do a really quick video snippet of the huddle, and I'll post it on the certification video. Yes, the huddle video. They just want to see what it looks like. But I gotta tell you, as much as this makes my stomach turn, I almost really want to do it on Scope for you because I want you to be able to see what's really happening. Because I can guarantee you, when I say huddle up, we might have done it all week perfectly great and smooth, and the minute that I go to do it on Scope, someone's gonna get squirrely. And I think you guys would like to see my kids get squirrely. I think you guys want to see what do I do when the kids get squirrely, so you know that I'm, not having this perfect utopian classroom. I have the same problems that you guys have. So I am working on the legalities of that. So as we've paused over here, we're just going to review where we've come for the scoreboard, and we have a really quick tip for you this week on how to get hashtag real life for sure. So let's take a look over here. I'm not sure with my little rig if I should be moving too much, but I'm going to. I probably am asking for it a little bit here. Whoa, there we go again. Okay, let's see. And you're a little lopsided, and I apologize for that. Here we go. That's a little bit better. Hopefully you don't go tumbling. But I'm going to go over the levels with you really quickly. So remember level 1 in the scoreboard game. And remember, guys, I hate to keep saying this, but in case you guys have not met with me or it's been a while, emphasize that it's a game. We're looking at our scoreboard game. Everything we do in whole brain teaching, we want to talk about it being a game. One of the things that is most important to us is we talk about weaving the thread of centricity through everything we do. And so when we emphasize that this is a scoreboard game, it's going to seem you're going to have a lot more buy-in than if you're using it as a tool for punishment. So kids love games. That's right, Coach. So we call this our scoreboard game. I am so sorry we are all over the place today, guys. I want to unplug my phone. Oh, thank you. Here's one thing about me. I love change and trying things in the classroom. I do not love change and trying things on me. So thank you so much. Okay, so here we are. We're emphasizing that this is a game, and it's thinking, looking, and acting 2 grade levels higher. So over here we have level 1. It's just the smileys versus frownies, and all we're working for is the bragging rights, okay? So then over here, level 2, when we get to level 2, now we're doing boys versus girls, smileys versus saddies. Again, all they're working for is bragging rights. Remember, guys, we're not going to give out a bunch of really great things at the beginning of the year because it's a long year. Now, we've also been talking about how 10 class wins moves the class up to the next level, but we have some I'm really excited for these levels that we're going to be getting to here eventually. Coach B just unlocked some really awesome secret levels, and I have some levels that I've tried out this year that I can't wait to share with you guys. So we're going to need to move these kids up a lot faster. So we're saying 5 wins is a class win, and they get to move up. Hi. It's cool. I'm just broadcasting away over here. You're good. And do you love my little rig here? Look at this. Yeah, and so this is falling all over the place. Yeah, to make things worse. Oh, thank you. I love money. Okay. Bye, Miss Flores. All right, guys. So then we're moving on to our level 3, which is boys versus girls, smileys versus saddies. And again, over here, now we've just bumped it up just a little bit of a reward. We're not giving out toys, guys. No treasure chest. We're just moving from the reward being bragging rights to winner lines up first, okay? So now our level 4 was where we ended last week. And on our level 4, Boys versus girls. Let's see. I let the ones who want take their shoes off for carpet time. Oh, that's really cute. I love that. The little perks. Just taking the shoes off. How relaxing is that? Level 4, smileys versus saddies. Only on this one, blue marks mean double points, and the winner lines up first. And we talked last week about those blue marker points, that it's really a good idea to use those blue marker points, especially during times of the day where they get extra squirrely. So you may decide, towards the end of the day, the kids are really having a hard time. So that's when we're going to really make it our blue, but help if I had blue, our blue marker time. So what does that look like? Well, when you're giving the smiley points over here, or even the saddy points here, you're going to be using your marker to make the points. So maybe the boys have got some points over here, some smileys and some saddies. The girls have got some smileys and some saddies. Okay, and then you pull up. Yes, coach, that's exactly it. That's the greatest thing about this blue marker. I'm so glad you said that, coach, because I just talked about this at a conference yesterday. Sometimes just walking over and pulling out the blue marker and just holding it in your hand. Last week we talked about squeaky markers. Just opening up that expo marker ever so slowly and hearing that squeak when you're opening it up. Let me tell you, all of a sudden, the boys and the girls know either they're going to get, okay, coach, I'm going to let you take that one. Let me tell you, they're going to perk up either way because they don't know either which team is getting a double point for a smiley or a double point for a saddy. So the coolest thing about this marker is sometimes just pulling it out, all of a sudden you've got bigger gestures and you've got bigger or greater listening bodies. So gotta love these blue markers. And here's the best part. I love the stinky smell too. The best part is it's just a change in a color, guys. This didn't cost you anything. Okay, line up first for how long? One time or one day? Oh, I did it. Sorry, coach. Coach is helping me with the questions, and I still am getting used to that, but I will take that question. I just read it out loud. For winner lines up first, it's whoever won for that day. So, yes, there you go. Lines up first after next recess. And so whoever's winning is going to be the team that lines up. Now, let me tell you, remember, it's whoever lines up first has to line up correctly, guys. So that's an even greater thing because I'm watching my kids right now who are doing winner lines up first, and I've got, if the boys line up, my girls have laser eyes on those boys waiting to see, are they going to screw it up? Are they going to turn around in line? Are they not going to have their hands behind their back because they want to pass the boys? But the best part is the boys know that the girls are watching them, so they've got the best line ever. And what perfect timing, guys. By the time you make it to level 4, you've perfected those lines at the beginning of the school year. And then all of a sudden, I don't know what happens, a couple months pass by and you're having to practice the routines and practice lining up. Well, this is a really great way to get them to line up correctly because now it's a competition. Guys, anything that's a game and a competition is going to add that much more buy-in and get more of them going. So we're ready to lead off with our tip for this week. And so our tip for this week we're talking about is our recess squad. And some of you guys may have heard of the recess squad out there, but I got to tell you, recess squad does not need to, you can email me, AndreaSchindler@wholebrainteaching.com. My first and last name @wholebrainteaching.com. Definitely. We'll either set up through email or through phone number, and we'll definitely talk about some strategies. We need to help all of our students. So back to recess squad. I need to let you guys know, I'm telling you about recess squad when we're talking about level 4, but you do not need to wait until level 4. Okay, tell your neighbor, you do not need to wait till level 4. Now, I do not suggest starting recess squad at level 1 because at level 1, your kids are still learning the routines. You're going to have a ton of kids in recess squad. But you wait till you get maybe to level 2 or higher, and then you're going to do recess squad. So what does recess squad look like? Well, with recess squad, basically you're telling the kids that you have been practicing thinking, looking, and acting 2 grade levels higher for 2 months now, 3 months now, however long it is. But we still have some kids some students who are having a hard time using their big 2nd, 3rd, 4th grade gestures, whatever yours is. In kindergarten, ours would be 2nd grade because 2nd grade is 2 grade levels higher. So you say to them, we have some students who are not participating and doing big gestures with me. Now, I'm not going to point those students out. I'm not going to say who they are. But today I'm going to be looking for some who might need just a little bit of extra practice. And here's the thing, guys. I got to tell you, with extra practice, I always tell my students, you can practice right now, or you can practice some more during your recess. It's up to you. And let me tell you, they will tell you, oh, I'll practice right now. By the point they figure out that they love those treasured recesses, they're going to say, I'd rather practice right now. But pose it that way to them. Tell them, okay, you guys can practice using your big gestures. You guys can practice using your 2nd grade listening bodies. You can practice your late 2nd grade laser eyes. You can practice with me right now, or you can practice during your recess. Yes, this is important. Coach is making a good point. We're not going to look directly at any student. And in fact, when you talk about this, and Coach, thank you for saying that, because I think this is important. Guys, you're not going to come in on a day and wait for a student to not be participating and then do your whole spiel, because they're going to know exactly who you're talking about. Chances are they're going to know who you're talking about anyway, but I always feel like we need to start over fresh each day. We're not going to carry some grudges from yesterday in with us. We're going to start each day fresh. So when I decide to start recess squad, this is something I start literally after we count our scoreboard points from the previous day. So we've come in the door, we've sat down, we've counted our points, we've done our rules, and then I introduce recess squad. I do not introduce recess squad when a student acts up. So I'm going to say that again. I don't introduce recess squad the minute a student acts up, because that's basically like pointing out a student. I just come in and I say, hey guys, we've been in school for 63 days, however many days it is, and you guys are really becoming experts in thinking, looking, and acting like a 2nd grader. But some of you might need a little bit more practice. So from today on, you get a choice. You can either practice right now during class, or you can practice during your recess, okay? So basically the way it starts is you tell the kids, today I'm going to be looking for kids who are practicing right now, but if you need a little bit of extra time for practice, you might see me make a check mark like this on the scoreboard, okay? So here's our scoreboard. If I was to make a check mark at the bottom, this is my recess squad box, okay? Yes. But we call it our recess squad, because recess squad sounds a little less intimidating than recess practice box, but we say recess squad, okay? So I'm going to make a check mark on the board. Now here's the thing, guys. I never point at the student. I never directly I don't look right at the student. I don't point at the student. I never am directly pointing out any student ever who's going to be in recess box. Chances are the student is going to know who they are. That way they're not taking it as you're pointing them out in front of the class. So throughout your day, you may make 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 of these, maybe more, it depends, hopefully not, of these check marks here, okay? And you do not reveal who those students are until you're going out for recess. It's very important that you're not pointing them out during class and that they don't know until they go out to recess. So, yes, definitely. Right way, wrong way helps for sure. For if kids are criticizing kids when you get the frowny point. So here's our recess squad points. Now here's the greatest part about recess squad. Nobody knows if it's them or not. And here's the thing. Then you're going to see all of a sudden other students who are thinking, I hope that's not me, who are going to bump up their participation because they want to make sure that they're not one that needs extra practice during recess. So then what do we do with our recess squad? Well, during our recess squad time, during recess, they get to practice the rules. The rules have big gestures so they can sit and do rules practice with the rules. Now here's a tweak that I have on that. For those of you out there who have calendar time, which a lot of us kinder teachers do calendar time, I also did where I would bring out my radio that had my CD with my calendar songs. All my calendar songs have gestures, and I'd play the CD. I'd play it outside. I'd set up just a couple spots for the kids to sit, and they'd sit and they'd practice their songs for 30 seconds, short increments of time, practicing doing big gestures with their songs. Now, if you don't have calendar time, so you don't have a calendar CD to play, that's okay. It's cool. They can go through and practice doing gestures with the rules and talk to them about, okay, let's do right way, wrong way. What's the way we want to see the gestures? We want to see really big second grade gestures or whatever 2 grade levels are higher in your classroom. You want to use big, giant gestures. So we want to use big smiles. I even tell them sometimes big smiles. So we want to see enthusiasm. And so we give them that time, recess squad time. It's a short increment of time, but while the other kids are playing, the kids are doing their rules practice. Or if you're like me and you have the benefit of having those CDs with the songs on it that you use in the morning, they can sit and they can practice doing all the gestures to the songs. So recess squad, this is going to be your back pocket tool. You don't need to wait till level 4, guys. You can start as early as level 2. We encourage you not to start at level 1 because everybody is still learning at level 1. But recess squad is a back pocket tool you can use. Some of you have been saying, I've got some squirrely ones that have a really hard time and they're having a hard time participating with us. This is going to be the way you do it. It says, what are those CDs? I just put together, it's a CD of songs that we use during our calendar time. So they're all learning songs. Practice cards will fit in with this later in the school year. We're not pulling out those practice cards yet. But this is a way to help individual students to fix their individual behaviors before you get to the practice cards. So going back to the recess squad. I know some of you last week were telling me that you have administrators or principals who tell you that you can't take away time during recess. If that is the case, we had some great ideas last week of some fun activities that teachers will do with the students. So you're pulling the rest of the students to do the fun activity, and you're having those other kids practice doing their gestures either to the rules or to some of your learning songs for their recess squad time. So hopefully this back pocket strategy is going to help you out with those ones who are squirrely to get them going with their gestures. Let's see, you're already using practice cards. If you're already using practice cards, then recess squad isn't necessarily going to be something that is going to help you out. But if you wanted another tool to use, there's another tool for you to use. So anyway, I'm glad that you guys joined me here. If you have any more questions, let's see, do they get to join the activity after they practice? Yes, they absolutely get to join your activity after they do their practice. And in fact, when I say it, here's the thing, guys. Keep it very positive, okay? We're going to give it all positive. So remember, when I'm telling them you get to practice a little bit more time, I'm going to give you more time for practice. I'm not saying in a negative way. I'm not saying, sounds like you're going to need more practice. I think you need to go over there and have more practice. There's a difference in the way we say it, guys. We're going to tell them, you have a choice. Either you can practice now, but if you need more practice, I'll help you out. I'll give you more practice time. And then when they practice, you give them the positive feedback then, and you say, great job practicing big gestures. I hope tomorrow you'll be able to practice with us during class time. Why don't you come join us? We're always going, yes, practice is never a punishment. And guys, if you keep it positive, you're going to have more buy-in. If it becomes something negative and punitive, you're not going to have the buy-in. So you want to say whatever you're saying, you're always saying it in a positive way. And listen, guys, this is really important. And I got to emphasize this, guys. Teaching is a performing art. We all know this. So no matter what I'm thinking on the inside, I'm always smiling on the outside. So we got to remember, guys, even if you're frustrated inside, even if you're ready to squish your biggest rascals, whatever comes out of your mouth, is with a smile and is positive. If we stay positive, guys, we're going to win over some of our most difficult students. And for the rest that are a little bit more squirrely, we do have some back pocket strategies for those challenging students that'll come later. Let's see, when I breathe and smile, yes, that's good. Now, as far as the student said, they know all the rules. They may know them, but the reason why they're repeating them is to work on participating and big gestures. So, anyway, I hope that helps. Again, if you have another activity, guys, another really great activity that you could do with them that would be participating, if you have your Power Picks wall up, you can have the kids sit and review the Power Picks wall for 30 seconds. That has gestures. Remember that the problem that we're solving here, guys, is getting the kids to participate. And one of the ways we know they're participating is when they're doing their gestures and they're saying things. So if you're saying, hey, I'm so sick of these guys sitting there practicing the rules, have them review your Power Picks wall. They can go through and do all the gestures for your learning, for your Power Picks wall. If you have a Biffy Tunes wall like I have, they can sit and practice their Biffy Tune words. And here's the great thing about that. Not only are they participating by doing their gestures, but they're also practicing material that they need to learn anyway. So, awesome. Oh, and the 122 Games book. If you guys have not gotten this book, it's Coach's new book. You definitely want to check it out. 122 amazing games to get your kids involved and get that buy-in. Let's see, if they need practice with something else, can they practice that? Yes. If they need practice, and I thank you for saying that because I've actually done that before. I've had some students, I mean, we're talking right now about participation, but I've had some students who need to practice just sitting correctly in a listening body. Or yes, like hands and eyes. Perfect. Those are things that they can practice as well. So and that's another thing I tell the kids is, you know, I'll give you time to practice right now sitting with a listening body. But if you need a little bit of extra time to practice, I'll go ahead and give you some extra time to practice. You let me know. You can practice right now or during your playtime. You choose. And a lot of times just posing it like that, they'll say to me, oh, I'll practice right now. But if they forget, then you're going to give them 30 seconds of practice time how to sit correctly. 30 minutes of practice time how to fold their hands for hands and eyes. And remember, guys, 30 seconds doesn't seem like a long time, but to a kiddo sitting on the carpet with their hands folded or going through the gestures, it can feel like a long time. Start small. You can always increase later. So feel like you're playing to get so don't try to get him to sit, Caitlin. We're going to talk about, you and I might need to talk, but I'm telling you, that's the best part of using your mirrors and using your gestures is those kids should be moving most of the time during the day. Your ADD kids should be mirroring and doing those gestures with you so they're not having to sit still for long increments of time because they definitely don't have it in them. And those are some things that you got to keep in mind. You may have to add some additional tweaks. There's different things that you can do to help kids who are ADD, but I got to tell you, one of the biggest benefits of whole brain teaching is the fact that we use the gestures and we're always moving and they get a chance. They don't hear from me all day long. I'm not doing like I'm doing with these scopes. This is so different than any whole brain teaching conference you'll ever go to because we just talk for tiny little short amounts of time. We chunk our lessons and then they turn and they teach their neighbor. And all the while they're mirroring with us, so it's a good way.